Hey guys, Mr. Ricky here with Sticker Making 101. So you can see here I have MasterCAM opened up, but before you can get to this point and do what I'm about to show you, you have to have certain things done to your sticker design. First thing is that your design is complete in Key Creator. It has to be a good chain, so all your endpoints have to touch end to end. The bottom left of your sticker design has to be at 0, 0, 0. It has to be scaled to the size that we've specified that your sticker needs to be, and it has to be exported as a step file, a .step. So I'm going to show you today how to bring that step in, and then how to make a toolpath, and how to export the toolpath so we can send it to the CNC machine. Okay, so the first step, file open. You're going to go to your specified location. For me, it's the desktop, and I'm going to open up and specify that I'm looking for a step file, and the step file I'm looking for is Flounder. Alright, so this is the sticker I'm going to have cut out. I'm going to scroll out on it a little bit, and I'm going to hit my F9 key to show us and see where I'm at as far as my coordinate system. And it looks like my bottom left is 0, 0, 0. And the only thing now I can check is the size of this. Before I check the size, what I'm going to do is select my machine type. You guys will select whatever machine type we specify, either the Haas or the axes. But for today's example, I'm just gonna pick the default router. So first thing I'm gonna do is select my properties, open that up, and set up my stock. So under stock setup, it's gonna open up this window, the machine group properties. I'm gonna make sure I display my material, my stock. I want my 0, 0 to be in the bottom left. And for this sticker, I'm going to use a 5x8. You guys may be required to do something different. So my Y is 5, my X is going to be 8, and the thickness of my material is about 0.01. Okay, everything else is good. I'm going to say accept, and that puts my material around my piece so I know that it's scaled properly. Next step is to tell what type of toolpath I'm going to create, which is a contour toolpath. You have all different options here. Today we're going to be working with contour toolpaths, and it wants me to name my toolpath, so I'm going to select Flounder, hit accept, and now it wants me to select all my chains, everything that I'm going to be cutting out with this tool that I'm using. For this project, we're using a drag knife, so all of our chains are going to be selected at one time. If we were performing different operations, we would pick different tools. If, for example, all of these circles wanted to be drilled with a drill, I wouldn't select them with the contour toolpath. I would select a drilling operation and select those. But for today, everything for this is going to be selected as a contour and as a chain. So I'm just going to go through and pick. And you can see it gives my arrow for the direction that the tool is going to move. If we were doing a milling operation, we'd want to pay attention that all of our arrows are going the same direction, so we know that our machine and our offset direction, compensation direction, is on the correct side. But for this, we're turning our compensation off, and our tool is going to go right over the top of the line, so we don't need to worry about the direction of the cutter. So we're going to go through and select everything until all of our chains get highlighted. Alright, one last one here. I'm going to say accept. Alright, brings me up my 2D toolpath contour parameters. Before I start putting in my parameters, I'm going to show you and describe my tool to you guys a little bit more, which is a vinyl drag knife. This is a little demonstration, a little video on the drag knife working. So there is no kerf. It doesn't take any material off. It's just a very thin cut. Alright, so when I'm setting up my tool, here it gives me a 1/2 inch diameter. We actually don't have a curve for a diameter, but we have to specify something so we can watch the machine work. So I'm going to specify 0.01 as my tool diameter. I'm not going to use a holder. I want to go through and select my cut parameters. As mentioned before, the compensation for this we're going to turn off so that the line is actually our tool path. It's not going to the left or the right of our line. So turning it off, you can see my tool moved right to the line that we drew. So compensation right or left does not matter. Okay, tip compensation, we want to make sure that it is the tip, not the center. See the difference there? It's a 2D contour. And we don't want to leave any, we're not making a pocket, so we don't want to leave anything on the walls. So depth of cut, we're going to keep turned off. Our lead in, lead out, we're going to uncheck that and turn that off. Breakthrough, multipass, and tabs, we're also going to make sure are all turned off. And now our linking parameters. Our retract plane is going to be 0.25 above the part, but I may make sure it's absolute. All of these want to be absolute. Our feed plane is going to start at 100 thousandths above the part. Our top of our stock is always going to be 0. And our depth of cut with this drag knife is going to be 5 thousandths. So make sure that's set correctly. And we need to make sure it's a negative number because it's going below the surface of the part. Okay, going to hit accept there. You can see it's made our tool path. And now what I can do, the last thing is a verify. I'm going to center this up and hit play. And my knife goes around, cutting out the part. Alright, if that looks good, you can accept that. Now one more step before we can send it to our machine. We need to post the operation. Basically a post processor is a translator. The toolpath is just a bunch of X, Y, and Z coordinates. The post processor is the translator that translates that to the language of the machine. So each different type of machine has a different language that it speaks. So our post is converting our X, Y, and Z coordinates to a language or a conversation that the machine can understand. And so to post the selected operation, because I've selected the proper machine, the post is already set up. So I'm just going to hit the G1 up here. It's an NC file. And all these parameters are correct here. I'm just going to say OK. It's going to specify, it's going to ask me where I want to put my NC file. I'm going to put it on my desktop, but you guys are going to put it into your folder, your student folders. So put it to my desktop. It's going to be called flounder.nc. Say accept. This is already exists. Do I want to replace it? Yes. And my toolpath should pop up here, all my NC code. And so as you can see, my G codes, my M codes, and my X, Y, and Z coordinates. And to cut this out, we are at about 2,500 lines of NC code. So this is a much more efficient way to do it than having to write these out by hand. Okay, next thing we need to do is send this off to the machine. That's another video. Follow those simple steps and you should have no problems with this. All right, thank you.